Hey, if you wanted to hear what Keneath is doing to get more than 300% increase in her business, you're listening to the right episode of the Loan Officer Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Steve Kyles. We're powered by the Mortgage Marketing Animals. And today's going to be a great conversation because um, I get to interview a great friend of mine, and I'm just so impressed with what she's doing in her business. And many of you know that I'm a sales leader where I'm at in my company. And so there's loan officers and branch managers and people that have come and joined the vision of what we're building. And Keneath is one of them. And so Keneath joined our journey 11 months ago, and I've had the privilege of being able to be a part of her life, and we've just seen great growth, and I'm watching her numbers grow, and I just said, hey, look, Keneath, let's get on a podcast. And of course, Keneath is a phenomenal branch manager, and she's like, okay, give me all the questions, tell me what I need to know so I can be fully prepared. And I said, that's not how I roll, Keneath. I can't do it. So welcome to the podcast, Keneath Brantley. What's up?
Thank you. I'm excited to be here and see what kind of questions you're going to throw at me.
I know it well, and out of Mustang, Oklahoma, which man, what a cool thing. We were together when you opened that branch and kind of threw it open, not threw it, but we had a great, I mean, it was great. I don't know,
Our launch
several
party.
months ago. We had a ton of fun. So a ton of agents come out. But okay, so let me tell you the backstory with Keneath. First off, she's an exceptional branch manager. She's really good at details, relationships, and being tactical in what she's doing. And so here are the numbers, and I know this last year, everybody, you look at it. I was, hey, in Keneath, I think you've heard me say this, but I was, Ingenious put out a report and they're showing the previous 90-day numbers. And in October, which were the last full reported numbers that they had, it was Keneath, it was like 67% of loan officers did less than one transaction. 21% did one and a half transaction, and then it was only 12% that actually did more than two and a half transactions. So listen, everybody, we get it. Last year was tough for most people. Keneath, I know back in November you did 4 units you funded. December you did one, and then in January you did two. But here's what's really cool is that in February is where it's like over these last 90 days where the industry is working to come out of this. I just love it. So you locked in, what was it? You locked in, I think, 8 loans in January, but in February, you're funding 10 loans. And here we are, literally and I don't like to timestamp these, but it's the 16th of February. So today, you're halfway through the month. You've already locked in 8 units. You're funding 10 units this month.
Mhm.
In the month of March, you've already got 6 for 1.8 million on the board, and we're not even through with February. And I'm sitting here saying, Keneath, I love it because there's a proximity. You and I meet every week. We're talking constantly, and I'm able to be a guide in what you're building there in Mustang, Oklahoma. But it's like, you just got to talk. Tell us what you're doing, because I know there are people in our community that would just say, "Wow, how." It was rough. There was a lot happening. How do I rebuild? You're in a bit of a rebuilding stage. And I'm so thrilled that you're going to hit double digits in the month of February. It looks like March you'll surpass that.
Yes.
So
It's,
talk to us, girl.
well, it boils down to commitment and consistency in
Ooh,
doing the right activities every single day, even the
yeah,
days that I come in that I'm like, oh, you just
yeah,
have to buckle down and do it. Phone calls, phone calls, phone calls. So that's, we've really been ramping up in the last 90 to 120 days as far as really digging in the trenches and calling real estate agents, calling past clients, calling for, anyone and everyone that has a need or desire to own a home. And so those phone calls are
yeah.
now starting to pay off. We're starting to see that reaping of what we've sowed.
Hey, well, listen, I love it. You said 3 things: commitment, consistency, right activity.
Mhm.
My good. I mean, okay. So let's talk about commitment. What
Okay.
does that mean to you? So, because that's easy to say, oh, yeah, Keneath's super special. She's super extraordinary, which I think you are. But I mean, it's easy to say, oh, yeah, that's good for Keneath. But let's talk to just the everyday person, which is what we are. We're just working to build a significant business. And here you are seeing great momentum. What do you mean when you say commitment? What is somebody committing to?
Well, I think one, the commitment is to myself and my family. And then the
Mhm.
commitment is to my coaches and my teammates. We Commitment is a big deal to me. I love what I do and I work a lot because I do love it, but committed to come in every day and know I've got some great big goals that I'm trying to hit for this year and that I'm committed to slaying those and trying to knock them out of the park.
Yeah.
So committed to come in focused with what I have to do every single day to hit that.
I love it. Hey, and you do have a big dream and goal. One of them is to be what is it here
In the
at the
top
office? What
10.
top 10, baby? I think you could be number one. I mean, I'm just
Woo!
saying.
I mean, Holly
But I'll
might
tell
not
you,
like that,
we're
but
shooting to be top 10. I like it. I like it. Okay. So and I love now when you mean committed to your family, what it like how do you make that a reality? Like Keneath, there's got to be days you wake up and it's like, nah, I don't feel like it. How do you stay committed to it?
I don't have many of those days just because I love what I do, but on those days, I just have to remember that, I have a family and we want to take vacations and go out of
Yeah.
town and just do the fun things. I have a commitment to my teammates to make sure that I keep them busy. So that's just what gets me up every morning.
You just have to do it.
I just have
And
to
then
do
it
it.
turns into a lot. Well, and that's what you and I have talked about the hours thing. It's like, I'm like, Keneath, we got to back down the hours. And you're like, but I love it. And then you tell me, you're like, Steve, if you back down, I'll back
Mhm.
down.
So here we are.
Here we are. Well, and I tell you, isn't it funny when you love what you're doing? It's not like you're working. And you know what's even greater too, Keneath, is when you start getting because look, when you get success and when you're closing loans and there is financial freedom, man, life feels different. It's not like I got to, it's I get to. And
Mhm.
what a sweet season. Okay, talk to me about consistency. What does that mean for you?
So
Um,
Well, consistency every single day. We have daily activities that we have from our mortgage marketing animals and from coaching. So
yeah,
we know exactly the activities that we do every day. And
yeah.
so those are our non-negotiables that we're going to accomplish those first thing right out the gate to get those done and be consistent every single day, week in and week out.
What are the top two activities you feel like right now being consistent? Hey, being consistent in this and in this are what have helped me build this pipeline into double digits.
I think one is our Monday calls when we do reach out to real estate agents.
Yeah,
We have a ton of agents.
yeah,
And so some of those days I reach out to all of them. And some of those weeks I might reach out to, half of them, but we're always constantly reaching out to them, asking them what we can do to help them, what we can do to help their business. If they have anything personal that we can help with, things are happening in their lives and we want to make sure that we can help support them too.
Hey, and talk, how many agents do you think you have right now that
Whew.
are actively referring you business and you would consider relationships?
So in January, all of the leads that came in, they came from 28 different sources. So 28 of those agents, and when I was looking through them this morning, like every one of those agents, I talk to every week. And we talk about random things plus work. And so I think that that helps solidify that.
Yeah,
Out of those 28 sources, some of them are on teams. And so
yeah.
again, when it kind of is like when you do something great for one of them, it kind of just trickles down that the others are like, well, I want to see that too. And so then I can capture them to help them with their clients and their business.
Hey, out of the 28, how many you think are qualified? Because you and I have had this conversation because, it's always like go after qualified, qualified, qualified. You're in a smaller community. And that's kind of the tug of war. Do I go get a bigger cup? Or, so talk to me about that. What does it look like? 28, how many are qualified?
So back up 6, 8 months ago, I would say that probably 4 to 6 of them were qualified.
Yeah.
Fast forward to today, and there's only two that are qualified on that list.
So you're building business with unqualified agents. It's just a larger number that are starting to send and wake up and get you business. Um, okay. How many leads a month are you getting?
So we're averaging about, I would say probably hovering around about that 50 mark. And
Yeah.
so that's what we need in order to close the number of units that we need per month.
Hey, and I'll tell you this, I was looking at your numbers in February, and what's interesting is you're getting about 50 leads, but you had 46 credit pulls. And what a credit pull is where somebody raises their hand and begins the application, says, "Hey, I'm interested in buying a house. I'd like to get pre-approved, pre-qualified." And I think that's super powerful because the once they get into that loan consultation, once we're able to review credit or get them to take the next step, dude, you're closing 1 in 4 all day long. Sometimes 30, 31% of those. And so it's very evident that the business is growing and you're doing it with a relatively small amount of agents that are just starting to wake up and send you business and leads. How are you going deeper with those agents? What are some of the things? I know you do your Monday check-in calls. Are there other things that you're doing to stay connected and to stay leveraged in the lives of these agent partners?
So we do our Tuesday updates. So we do
Yeah,
all the buyer and the listing agent. But a lot for our teams and even for some of our one-offs, like I've held little clinics. So we've done a 2024 goal setting. We did a mini objection clinic.
dude, I
So I
love
try
that.
to host I did a reverse mortgage class. So I
Yeah.
just try to host something once or twice a month for some of these agents to really pull them in and ask them, what do you need from me? Like, what is
Mm,
there something that you need to know?
yeah.
Or, maybe you've heard something out in the market that I can clarify or explain,
Hmm.
out and how to implement it. So we just want to make sure that we're a resource for all of our agents.
What's your percentage? What do you think the percentage of, like, let's say the 10 loans funding this month, what's percentage is realtor and which percentage is past client?
So for February, I only have two of them that are past clients and the rest are coming from agents.
So I mean, but listen, for our listeners though, that's 20% of your pipeline. So 20% past client, 80% realtors. You're
Mhm.
getting about 50 relational leads, probably about 40 to 45 credit pulls, and with those numbers, you're able to close double digits. And so, man, that's great, Keneath. Hey, so we talked about this commitment, and I
Mhm.
like that. It just goes back to when your why is so big and so loud and so powerful, it gets you up in the morning. But even if you feel like, man, today's a slow, sluggish day, I love it that the calendar is also something that drives you. It's like, dude, I got things, I got to execute my calendar. I can get lazy, lethargic after it, but my calendar's got to be executed. And that goes to the consistency. So you're talking about consistent activity, which are your outbound calls. Now, what are the right activities? So number one, we know agents, Monday calls with our agent partners, adding value, having conversations. What are some of the other activities that you're doing that are helping you?
So we do past client calls. And so we want to be very intentional with those
I love
as,
that.
we just don't want to call and say, hey, how are you? Okay, thanks. It's how are you? How's the home? How's your mortgage payment?
Yeah.
What can we help with? What can we help unload for you if it's a financial burden? So we're making sure that we have, a designated and a designed script to go for each one of those calls so that we can get the most out of them. And not only that, but then we're asking them, like, don't forget friends, family, and coworkers, like send them to us. And to remind them that we can help with the refinance because a lot of clients think that we're just a buy
Yeah.
lender and that we don't do it all. Well, we do it all. So we want to
Yeah.
remind them that we do it all.
I love that. Man, such good stuff. Hey, so listen, somebody's listening today. What would you say to them? What's an encouraging word? Or, maybe they find themselves closing one transaction. Somebody, you know what I'm finding a lot, Keneath? People that were closing 7, 8, 9, 10 over the last 90, 120 days, the last quarter of last year, really, Keneath, it was like, man, I'm only closing one or two, and I'm just struggling. I feel like I'm having a tough time. I know what it's like to close a lot of volume, but I can't find my rhythm. I remember you and I walking through this. It's like you and I were like, dude, how do I get my rhythm back? Talk to the listener on something like that. What can they do to really get back into momentum and get back to their numbers?
Well, one, I think you need to write down your goals and you need to have them posted so that you can see them every day from business to personal, like everything, just write it out. Two, I would say you need to find a coach, whether it be a peer or a some type of coaching to where they can help you with the scripting, help you with time management, help you with the daily activities and to hold you accountable because if you don't have accountability, then it may or may not happen. And I would also say just to really dive in, don't give up, look at your agents that are sending the business now and look to see who sent what. Maybe, the person that you really, really like doesn't send you business. Well, maybe it's time to look outside of that and focus on other agents as well and keep in touch with them, but don't put all your eggs into their basket when they don't have the business to send you right now.
Yeah, I love it. Well, and stay in focus because we can be busy or we can be effective.
Mhm.
And I know you and I've talked a whole lot about that. It's like, man, it's this industry has been for years intoxicated with, man, I'm busy, busy, busy. Where are the results? Well, I don't know. They're not coming, but man, I'm sure at every event, and I'm talking to all these agents, well, are they qualified? Or do they have business? Or are they open to building a strategic partnership? Well, I don't know, but I'm still talking to them, and it's like, whew, don't be busy, be effective. So,
Well, and I'm not going to say that there are days that my schedule gets away from me,
yeah,
but overall, it's trying to be committed to the process, to the activities,
yep,
and I have to always remind myself to ask for the business, like have it written down in front of on my computer, because when we're talking to our buyers, we want to ask for the business. When they're
yeah.
getting pre-qualified, we want to make sure that they're committed to us. Yes, we're going to lose some, which you and I have had that conversation. And your response is, it's okay. It's okay. Just go get another one. I'm like,
Go get
okay.
more. Go get more. Go
So,
get. It's easier to lose 1 in 10 than it is 1 for 1.
yes.
Yeah,
And, something else that I've learned too is not to be so emotional. Like
yeah,
in the past years, I took things more personally.
yeah,
And I think I've, with coaching with you and we talk a lot, is don't get emotional. Like,
yeah,
this is business. Here's what I want. I want to do your transaction. Ask for the business, ask for the commitment, and stay in touch with them and be transparent.
yeah.
There are some great lenders out there, but at the end of the day, it comes down to who's going to be honest, who's going to take care of them, who's going to follow through, and who's going to close on time. And with the right team beside me and behind me, I'm able to make that happen.
Oh, I love it. Well, I got to tell you, Keneath, you're an inspiration. And I know the people that are listening today, because you know that what we're seeing is the divide's getting greater. They're either you don't have the business and totally struggling, or thriving and seeing massive breakthrough and success. And so, Kenny, thank you for leading the way. And guess what? We get it. We're going to get into that top 10 for sure. And we're going to jump back on another podcast. And we're going to talk about all the successes because we've got some great dreams and goals. And I'm excited to share the story because you're doing it. You're doing the work. You're showing up and you're an example. Hey, and if you're listening today, one of the things I'm doing is this. I'm doing a boot camp. It's a 12-week boot camp. And right now we just did our first class. It's 12 weeks. And I've got 5 spots that I'm looking for 5 people that I can help close an additional 5 transactions in a 12-week span. And so it's our 12-week boot camp. If that's something you're interested in, shoot me an email, steve@stevekiles.com, steve@stevekiles.com. I've got 5 spots to help you grow 5 more transactions a month in a 12-week span. I'm calling it a 12-week boot camp. And if you're interested, send me the email, steve@stevekiles.com. I'm interested. And then give me about 24 hours. I'll reach out to you, see if it's a great fit for what we're doing. But Keneath, I'm excited because what we're going to do is talk about some of the things, the structure, the calendaring, and, even how to have a great team meeting. What are the right activities? Who are the right agents to call? What do I say? And really going deeper. What we always talk about is we're looking for successful people. We're just going to help you get there faster.
Right.
And so if that's something you're interested in, shoot me an email. I would love to do it. Hey, and if you say, Steve, I'd love to have a quick conversation with you to see about what are some of the things in a 30-minute call. Maybe I can point out some things to help you in your business. Go to meetupwithsteve.com. That goes directly to my calendar. I've been meeting with people all week, and it's so funny. Everybody's like, I thought it would be an assistant. Nope, that's my calendar. Meetupwithsteve.com. Pick a 30 minutes. Would love to have a conversation about your business, or maybe even, are you a good candidate? One of the 5 people that would be great for 5 more loans each month within 90 days, how to get there. So would love to do it. Thank you for being a part of the podcast. Thank you for being a part of our community, listening to the stories, being encouraged. We hope that you continue to have massive success. And remember this, anything worth doing is worth doing badly. Just get started. See you.